So we're looking back on 50 years of Saturday Night Live. 50!
Yeah, I can't believe it.
It's standard. I'm the devil.
I was on their 11th year. So I was on it 40 years ago, and that just, I can't compute it. It seems insane.
It is wild, it really is. But also knowing not only were you on the show, I mean, you are such a key part in the history of the show.
Yes.
See, it's that look, it's that voice, it just takes me right there.
Yeah, that's the ticket.
You were cast during, what, the 1985 season when
Right.
Lorne Michaels came back after being gone for about 5 years, right?
Yeah, and it was all over the country. He's coming back, and I was in the Groundlings Theater. I was in there. I was hoping to get, you know, in the company and get on stage and get work. But I never imagined I'd be on that. And I had an agent. He goes, "I'm going to submit your tape for Saturday Night Live." I go, "Yeah, right." He goes, "No, I'm serious." And I literally said, I go, "Mike, I have a better idea. Why don't I land on Pluto? Why didn't I do that?" And he kept saying it, and I started yelling at him. I go, "Would you just shut up?" Because to me, it was another world.
Yeah, Lorne Michaels got your tape, and then what was the audition process like for you?
Back then, I did like 4 characters, and Tom Davis and Al Franken were producing it, and so I did my characters for them, and then we had to do it at this huge rehearsal hall in front of like 35 people.
And look at this. Why, it's a mackerel with a ball in his mouth. Well, who would have believed it?
Yeah, because Al Franken thought it was so funny. And I go, "I wasn't trying to be funny, I was just like this." And Al says, "Yeah, you were everything we weren't looking for in one person." I'm like, "Oh, thanks a lot."
I promise not to annoy you anymore.
So I was so mad, I go, "Yeah, I'll show you." When I got like the Tonight Show, you got to go for it. Or not. You either fold or you go for it.
To be on the show, it's a chance to have a real shot at it. But there's no guarantees. But that's what I want, and it's tremendously, exciting, and I can't believe I'm here. And just talking to you.
Season 11 of SNL is called The Weird Year because the show was in the middle of a huge transition. In an effort to avoid being canceled and attract younger viewers, they brought in a totally new cast of 9 comics, including Damon Wayans, Dennis Miller, Randy Quaid, Anthony Michael Hall, Joan Cusack, and future Oscar winner Robert Downey Jr.
Does the phrase chowder mean anything to you?
Oh, yeah. It says to me fish.
When you were on, that year was kind of like a major transformation year for the show. So did you feel going in like, okay, there is a pressure for us to reinvent?
I just couldn't believe I was there. And then meeting the cast, and they were all really so talented and so nice, and I was just thrilled to be there. But I remember on the studio's on the 8th floor, so on the 9th floor is the upper bleachers of the studio. So they had this glass case, and in it was John Belushi's bee costume.
Do as I say, senor, you won't die!
And next to that was Eddie Murphy's Gumby costume with a life mask of Eddie Murphy.
Why am I here? Why am I here?
And I remember looking at it thinking, "Oh, what am I gonna do?" I go, "I'm not them." It's like, I can't do what they do. And I thought, well, I'll just be funny the way I'm funny, and then the audience will like it or not. The press started just slamming us, and then back then there was no social media, so TV Guide, I'll just say, they did a review of the show and slammed it, and by then we'd done 11 shows, but they only talked about the first 3, so they didn't mention that about a lot of great sketches, and my liar character, by then the whole country was imitating it.
Right.
He's a liar.
Hello, my name is Tommy Flanagan, and I'm a member of Pathological Liars Anonymous. In fact, I'm the president of that organization. You'd be surprised how many famous people belong. Why, in fact, at one of the meetings I met my wife, Morgan Fairchild.
People were starting to come up on me on the street and say, "My wife, Morgan Fairchild."
How do you like that? My wife paid my bill. Yeah, my wife, Morgan Fairchild.
It started off as an inside joke between a friend of mine and I, and now to hear everyone doing this inside joke, I mean, it was crazy. And then that summer, my dad called me and goes, "Look at Doonesbury," and he did a whole cartoon on it.
Awesome.
I mean, it was huge.
John was one of the few cast members asked to return for season 12, which introduced newcomers Kevin Nealon, Phil Hartman, and Dana Carvey.
Oh, yes, sir. Oh, it doesn't get any better than this.
When Dana came on, I'd already been on a year, and I think he was quite intimidated to meet me, wouldn't you say?
I was terrified to meet this man, shaking in my boots. And I walked up to him. I was kind of nervous. I said, Mr. Lovitz, I really think the liar character is great, and I'm very happy to meet you. And Jon looked at me and said, who are you?
I said, yeah, you know, tell me something I don't know. And he said,
I was nervous.
He said, I'm gonna hitch my wagon to a winner. And I just looked at him like he was a freak.
Giddy up. Yeah, that's right. He's my wagon to a winner.
You know, it was Dana Carvey and Dennis Miller and Kevin Nealon. And we all became very close friends when they got Phil Hartman on.
Yes.
And Phil was like my big brother. I idolized him.
Well, are we ready, Mr. Thespian?
Please call me master.
I said, Lauren, if you think I'm good, you'll love Phil. He's a genius. He can do anything. And he was like, well, he goes, how long has he been in the Groundlings? I said, 10 years. He goes, well, if he hasn't made it by now, don't you think there's a reason? And I said, yeah, I guess. But I remember thinking, how can someone be that talented and not? And the real reason was he didn't want it. In fact, he goes, I like my life. I don't want to be famous. And he got offered the show.
Really?
After the audition, he turned it down.
Really?
Yeah, and then he changed his mind. So I called him, because I was trying to convince him to do it after he turned it down. And then he said yes. So I wanted the credit, of course. He goes, so Phil, is it because of me? I made you believe in yourself, and that's why you said yes and changed your mind? He goes, no.
And so thankfully,
Thank
God
he did it. Yeah,
yes,
of
thank
course
God
he was,
he
you know,
did.
amazing.
Was there a sketch or that you loved that you weren't in? Like something that you saw that you said, damn it, they just nailed
There was
it.
one, but it wasn't mine. It was Adam Sandler.
Mucho dinero, little bambino, millionaire.
So he's doing Opera Man. And I said to him, you know, Adam, all your characters are great. I go, I would never think of any of them. I go, but I wish, and I couldn't do them. But Opera Man, I go, because I like to sing fake opera, and I go, oh, I wished I would have thought of that. That was like, I go, I wished I could do that. And he goes, you want to do it with me? And I'm like, what? He goes, you do it with me on the show. I go, are you kidding? He goes, no. I go, oh, yeah, I'd love to. He's always like that. So I ended up getting to do it. From behind the desk came me and then Glenn Close, and we got to do it.
That's awesome.
I know, it's so funny.
How do you think, though, that the show has been able to stay relevant for 50 years?
It satirizes what's going on that week, you know, a lot of it. So that's why, you know. And it's great. I mean, you know, and the amazing thing to me is how Lauren and everybody, they keep finding people that are completely unknown, and then they go on the show, and then you go, oh my God, they're so great.
How much longer do you think the show can go? I mean, we're 50 years down.
I think it could go forever. I
Yeah.
don't know why would you stop? It makes no sense. I think it could just go on forever.